Okay, so we made this Python thing. You may not know what Python is. That's okay. There's going to be a lot of things that we scratch on here that you'd be like, what the hell is that? Just jot it down and go look it up. Um, there are some people that have to know every little thing while they learn, and there's some people that can scrape over and learn how you want to learn. Don't get caught up, if you're like, I don't know Python, it doesn't matter. That's not the purpose or the point of this, right? In fact, we're going to delete all of this. And now we're going to write some Go. Um, why Go? I think we should start with backend and make something that does a little. We're going to make a very simple REST API. I'm going to be explaining, what that is here in a second. But essentially, that's just going an interface. An API is an application programming interface. So it's something that allows two pieces of software to intercommunicate. And we're going to design one of those, develop one of those, very simple. And then we're going to make equally simple front end that's going to talk to our back end. We could do all of this in JavaScript. I'm choosing purposely to put the back end in Go, so we look at two different languages. I'm happy to do the same thing in any language that's relative or possible. But yeah, we're going to do this. So we're not going to look at the Dockerfile right now because we haven't written our software, so it's not anything to build. So I already have Go installed. You're going to need to do that. And how do we do that? Well, it's actually very simple. We're going to do Go download. Okay, boom. For Mac OS X and Windows, it's just a package installer. For Linux, you just download the binary, tar it, and then export path. Tar it, move it over to bin or user local, and export a path. There are some little intricacies in each one of these, but for the most part, that is it. We can go in more depth on configuring Go environments if we have issues. Just let me know. So, boom. You can see if we clear this, I have 121.1 installed, so that's cool. So, I'm in this folder, but I don't really want to be in this folder. I want to be in something called my Go path. So if we look at Go and read Go path, see I have this environment variable here, Go path set to my users, Jeffrey Neff Go. And in that, if we were to do this, we have this src, and then we have this github.com. So you can see we're at users, Jeffrey Neff Go, source, and then we say github.com. And then now we have some different GitHub repositories in here. These are organizations, and then the subdirectories of these organizations are the GitHub repos. So we kind of mirror, is if we go into acres, and we pwd, it mirrors, if I go into like a repository in this subdirectory, which I can't do because I can't show you, this would mirror the website link, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to, I have this Jeff folder, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to open a folder in the, see I already have a quick link here, github.com. So this is Jeffrey Go source, github.com Jeff. And we're going to make a new one, learning with Jeff, create, open, done. Okay, yes, I trust myself. All right, now we're going to open a terminal, or however you want to do this, but we need to make a main.go. So I just touched it, so we make a main.go file. And now we're going to do some Go magic here. We're going to go mod init, if I can spell. Okay, now I've created this simple little file that you see the module points to. There, cool. So now we're going to go mod tidy. So what does that do? It's not going to do much right now because there's no dependencies, but essentially that would fix or update the dependency structure that will be located here that we'll see. So let's write some Go. First line of a Go code is the package. Package. This is all, we're only going to do one file, and we always have to have a main package, so we are package main. Now we need to import some dependencies. Dependencies are external code that we can use to not have to rewrite or redo everything every time. We can use other people's work to speed up our work. FMT format is a native Go package or dependency, and so it's managed and is in the Go library. There's also, you'll see commonly, you know, like this. So this is an external it's an external import. Whenever you see like no prefix, these are Go internal libraries, okay? So all we need is format because we're just going to print a little line here. And now we're going to write a function, so func, okay, main, we're only going to write one function, and because we're only going to write one function, we have to have a main function, because there's always a main function, just like there's always a main package, and there's always a main file. Okay, we're gonna format dot, so I'm accessing a property of the format package, print line. I'm passing, you can see here, print line accepts an amount of strings, of anything actually, and it's going to return a integer and an error. That's what this means. Go's function signatures are a little weird to look at first. We can see here main takes nothing, returns nothing. Print line takes, this is kind of a weird one to start, but it would take a comma separated of anything, like that, right? And then this could go on forever. And it's going to return an error. Well, how do we look at that in and the error? Well, that's easy. So we can say, this is the integer return. So I'm specifying that as a variable, or we are. And then we're going to say error. And then we're going to do a semicolon and equals. What is a semicolon and equals? This is a, think of it as detect and create. Okay, so if I was just to have this, we'll see we get the error. This does not, it's undefined. Okay, because, and I could go here and I could say predefine the errors, and then these are just going to say these are not being used. Okay, easy. So if we just print those out, now everything's happy and it will build and there's no errors, right? But this is kind of ugly. So instead of having to define them like that, we already know the return types that these are going to be, or the compiler does, because Go is a strongly typed language. That means that every type or every variable, we know what type of data is in it. You see here, when we define things, we define the variable type. Int is an integer or numbers. String is a string. Error is a struct or a property or an object, roughly, that represents something. So we'll get into structs in a minute, but we know exactly what's in an error or in what this return type should be, so the compiler can infer it from the signature of the function call, which is why we can just do this. Now, we have an error here. It's idiomatic Go to always handle and return handle errors and return the error as soon as possible. You never want to, so you want it, this is idiomatic. This is not, because we never want to do an instruction set with an unchecked or unreturned error. So we want to check this right away. Now, if we look back at what we have, once our main runs, he's going to format print line this If he gets an error, we're going to check it. If not, we have this integer return and we're going to print it. We can remove the error here. So let's go run this. So we got our format print line here. Okay. And we see he did his job. He printed to the console and he returned the integer return of 28, which we saw here. And we did not see this because error never returned anything because there was not an error printing to the console. Okay. So what did we do here? We just wrote our first Go program. And then we learned about error handling, the auto creation of variables. I don't know what the actual word is of that. And then, yeah, we can run Go software. So we've written this. So this is really cool. But how do we tie this into the Docker bit that we did earlier? Well, we're going to need to construct a Dockerfile. So we need the Dockerfile. We're going to say from Ubuntu. There we go. And we're going to say, what do we need to do? Well, we need to download and do all the Golang bits. That's really annoying. I don't really want to do that. Like, I could, I could just copy that little script we saw earlier into here, but that's kind of annoying. So what's cool, there's different packages from built for different purposes. So we see here Golang is already built and is an image that already has all the dependencies for Golang built into it, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to take, I don't want 1.16. You see, I'm on 121, so I'm going to do 121. I think this is wrong, but we can check it. So if we go over to Golang Docker image, and we go to tags, I'm gonna grab the grab the bullseye. Okay. Okay. And now we're gonna do a workdir of app again. Let's do something cool. Build. Okay, and now we want to run first. We don't want to run anything. We need to copy these bits over so we can build them and compile them on our run system, right? So we're going to copy. I'll just take everything because I'm lazy. But remember, we could just copy the Go mod. But we're not going to do that. Let's hit it with Go mod tidy real quick. Okay. So now we have all, we're going to have this Dockerfile too. We have all these, right? Now what if we were writing a lot of Docker files, or what if we just didn't want to explicitly say, don't add this? Well, we can do this thing called a Docker ignore. I'm going to say Dockerfile. Okay. Now this won't get added. Cool. So now we have our base image. Oops. We have our working directory, and we have our code in that working directory. Now what we want to do is build it. So we're going to do this here, go build, and we're going to say the output of build bin, and we're going to put that in CMD. Actually, don't want that. We're just going to use that. Okay. Now we're going to say cd Okay. So let's run through this. We're saying the builder, which we'll get into what that means in a minute, is Golang at this Golang image from this tag. The working directory is build. We're copying all of this stuff into build. We're saying go build out build bin test. But we actually don't need that. Docker build this tag test. I think this is wrong. Pack the upper decky. Let me pause it. Okay, it's done. Okay, so then let's go back to Docker. Our images. Oh, that's right, this is test. Cool, 1 second ago, we'll go ahead and run that. And there he is. So what if I didn't want to run that from the IDE, right? I could say docker run test. Just like that. Cool. And so let's close this video out, and in the next video we'll start making our REST server after some conceptual understanding on what that is.